Hi there, and welcome to our quick overview of a market report powered by Altos Research. Now, the goal of this market report is to provide a clear, easy to understand answer to how's the market. We answer this question by focusing on the 100% active market, excluding pending and contingent. Now, one of the great things about this report is that it is all inclusive. You'll see that we have data for our single family homes as well as condo townhouses. And just a click of the tab, you'll be able to access the unique information for either. We'll go back to single family homes. Now, these reports are updated weekly. The update happens over the weekend so that whenever you're looking at the report, you always have the latest and greatest information. We have a specific way that this is laid out because everybody absorbs this information differently. So we'll go ahead and walk through the 4 components that make up this report. The first component is the real-time market profile. The numbers that are presented here are the latest and greatest, right? Things like median list price, price per square foot, days on market, inventory. All of these are the most important statistics with the latest numbers. If this is the first time looking at this report, it might be useful to be able to say, hey, if this is what the number is now, what was it? How does it compare to last month or the month before that? Therefore, we have provided spark lines. This is an interactive report, therefore you can put your cursor anywhere on these lines to go ahead and view the specific date and number associated to that date. So the real-time market profile, again, provides the latest information for the most important statistics. We also have copy that is provided for those who may find this a little bit more intimidating. You'll see that on the left-hand side here. This information is specifically based on what is provided in the real-time market profile. In addition to the text being provided, you'll find the market action index. The image provided for those who need those visual aids, someone like me who's a visual learner, right? You'll notice that it's also incorporated into our real-time market profile. Now, our market action index is our own proprietary algorithm. So our data team got together, we took a series of different statistics, put them all into this algorithm, into an equation with a final output. We found that the number 30, which you'll see here, is our neutral. It didn't favor the buyers or the sellers. But when that number was greater than 30, it favored the sellers. When it was less than 30, it favored the buyers. So this is a thermometer of sorts, a speedometer that indicates exactly where we're at in the market. So this report answers the question, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? And that's obvious here. So with the number 57, you'll find that number here within our real-time market profile, indicating that it's greater than 30, therefore a strong seller's market. Now, if you scroll down, you have our third component, which is our larger chart, where you can view what has happened in the market over the last 3 years. Now, this particular tool provides a 7-day, which is every capture we make every week, and then a 90-day average, which is 13 weeks of our 7-day averaged out. This is our trend. You'll find our trend is a little bit more smooth, and that's probably what you'll focus on most. You can deselect these from the chart so that you can focus on that trend, put back that 7-day, and see if there's any leading indicators of change. Now, in addition to that, you may want to dive in a little bit deeper, whether you're looking at a citywide report or a zip code specific report. There are niche areas, right, that may have a different price point. So we have something called market segments. Now, market segments isn't answering the question, what are all the pieces of inventory available that are over $1 million? Rather, it is taking all the existing inventory, so 246, which is mentioned here, and then dividing it into 4, right? So that each segment has the same amount of inventory. So you list it by most expensive to least expensive, divided by 4, so that the top always represents the most expensive 25% of properties, and the bottom always represents the least expensive 25% of properties, and so on and so forth. This allows you to dive a little bit deeper, talk about the nature of the market within a particular dollar amount, and see how it may be different than other segments within that same area. So in addition to the market segments that you can turn on or turn off, you can also change the statistic. So if you'd like to look at something like average days on market, properties with a price decrease, inventory, market action index, it's definitely something that you can do using the interactive chart. So in addition to that, you'll see we have market segments table. Our market segments table, instead of the 90-day trend, which is what we see when we break it down by segment within that chart, you now have that 7-day. So the latest and greatest information is provided here in the market segments. It'll say, okay, as of now, the latest inventory divided by 4. Each segment has the same amount of inventory. We then determine what the median is for each of those segments. We find what that median square footage is, the lot size, the beds, the baths, and then the age in years for that home. So this is super helpful to help set expectations. If you've got $780 to spend, what can you expect for your money? Roughly 1,200 to 1,250 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a 54-year-old home. This is really, really helpful. You can also find out how quick things are moving in that particular segment of the market. So you'll find that this is 54, so one step up. So the $1 million homes are what are moving quickly or quicker than the others, right? 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This new column represents the new pieces of inventory coming onto the market in the last week. And those absorbed, how many are no longer available? Remember, we focus on the 100% active, so this number will include pending, expired, removed, right? Contingent. So again, what is newly available, what is no longer available, and what's the time it took from it to go from one data set to the next data set. Okay, so those are the 4 components of our report. Again, we've got our real-time market profile. We've got our copy that talks specifically about what's happening in our real-time market profile. Our market action index, which answers the question, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Our larger chart, where you can change the statistic as well as choose to look at the data based on market segments. And then, of course, the most up-to-date information for those market segments. So those are the 4 components. If you'd like to print the report, I highly recommend that you do click on Share, that you click on Full Report PDF for a 6-page report or a single-page PDF for that 1-page overview. Printing from this way will always make it look as clean as possible. If you'd like to share the data via social media, you have those options as well. Share with a friend or a colleague. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is here. Take care.